Hi everyone, Casey here from CaseyMullaney.com, and today I was actually going to have little Miss Sophie with me, but she's like in this super excitable mood at the moment. She has gotten my new puppy. In case you haven't seen my page blowing up with a million puppy photos, I got a new little Multi-Poo this weekend. She's super cute. I have not slept well, but so I might be a little bit loopy. But other than that, you know, she's so cute, so sweet, and she had her first little vet appointment today, and she was so well behaved while we were out in public. But as soon as we got home, her energy has just been bouncing off the walls. So I was going to debut her on video tonight, but since she was a little rambunctious, that was not working. So she and Jimmy are having some fun at the moment. But anyways, tonight I want to talk a little bit about the power of deciding. I know I've talked about this a little bit before in different videos with different topics, but tonight I really wanted to focus on the power of your decision and what all goes into that. So one thing that I noticed last night, in case you don't know this history, which most people don't, of this little puppy and I wanted a Multi-Poo starting about 3.5 years ago, maybe a little longer. I'm trying to decide. It's been a little while. I was at a conference and this woman had just gotten one, like she was like the girlfriend of the guy presenting, but she had just gotten this little Multi-Poo, and it was the cutest thing ever. And I've wanted a small dog for as long as, you know, since I was like 10 or so. I grew up around a vet clinic, so this has been one of those like deep desires for a long time. And I fell in love with the Multi-Poo, like I said, about 3 years ago, and I love their demeanor. I researched them even more. And I actually had a picture of one that I have kept for about that long. I found a picture on Pinterest of this sweet little Multi-Poo that it was just like the most perfect looking picture. And I saved it to my phone, and it's on, I think actually a couple of my Pinterest boards, because I have like a pet one and a vision board one and things like that. And last night I was taking care of Sophie, and all of a sudden I turned around and looked, and the way she was posed and the way that she was looking at me was identical to that picture that I've had for so long. The exact coloring and everything. It kind of actually took me back for a second. I didn't expect that at all. And the thing is like I said, this is something I've wanted for a really long time. So how did I end up having it now? And I know with a dog, it sounds a little more simplistic. You're like, well, you decided to get the dog, but there's actually more to it than that. One of the things that, for anything that you want, just keep this in mind, for anything that you want in your life, the first thing you have to decide is that you have to decide that you really want it, and then you have to decide that you're worthy of it. If you don't decide that this is something that you truly want, or that you're truly deserving and worthy of it, it's probably not going to come into your life. If you have this decision made, though, if you get into this place of where you decide that it's something you want, and you decide that you're worthy of having it, not because it doesn't have to be with the person that you are. This has nothing to do with, oh, I deserve this because I worked really hard, or oh, I deserve this because any specific reason. It has to do with the fact that you deserve it just because you are a being. That's all there is to it. It's just you are a being of God, so you deserve this amazing desire in your heart. So once you decide that that's a true desire of yours, and that, oh, you're so welcome, Ursula, I'm so glad. I'm glad I can see who's watching without comments. So yay, I'm glad this is helpful to you. But you have to decide. The big thing is deciding that you are worthy. And once you make that decision, this is the craziest thing. So this has happened with so much stuff in my life. This has happened in my car. It was 3 days. Once I decided, I knew what car I wanted for a long time. I'd picked out this Volkswagen EOS. Actually, I picked out the Volkswagen Beetle convertible years ago when they re-released it. Then I picked out the EOS when I was working in Key West, because I got, like, it was like a rental. I started expecting to get upgraded every time I went, and I did. So I constantly was getting these great upgrades with cars, and one of them was the Volkswagen EOS, and I actually had an opportunity presented to me to buy one, but at the time I didn't feel worthy. One, I wasn't ready to release my old car, and I also didn't feel worthy of that at that moment. I just didn't feel I didn't feel like I deserved to have that yet. Once I stepped into the decision that it was time, and the decision that I was worthy of that car and that I deserved having a nice car, it was 3 days. It was exactly 3 days. My other car went kaput and I got a new one last Valentine's Day. So it was this power of decision, of deciding that it was what I wanted and it was a true desire, and that also that I was worthy. Well, the same thing actually happened with my puppy. And I could go on, I could give like millions of examples of this. But with my puppy, I decided that I was ready for her. Like literally decided I was ready for her. I'd been researching breeders. I'd been researching the breeder I bought her from for like 2 years now. So it wasn't like a random, let me just try to find a breeder now. This has been like obviously on my mind and a desire in my heart. But once I decided that it was time, I decided that it was something that I was capable of having in my life, and also that something that I truly wanted and that I was ready for. And once I made that decision, not only did I like end up paying the deposit, getting these kind of puppies usually takes like months. like this is usually like a 6-month ordeal. And within 3 days of me like deciding and putting down the deposit, I was picking out my puppy. Like that does not happen, you know, like not with these puppies. Like I should have had a minimum of a 2 or 3 month wait, minimum, if not more. So, and especially since like I really was like, I wanted a specific color ideally, you know, which is kind of how those things work. But I was very open because, you know, obviously I was really happy to have the puppy, but I decided that I was worthy of that puppy that I had been looking at for so long. I decided that it was time. And once I put that decision out there, then it created itself and the opportunity presented itself. And I literally got the exact little puppy in that picture. And I will say this, so the things that I know that I haven't created in my life yet, things that I really want, and so this is like a big key to remember. If there's something that you really want in your life, if you're not getting it, it's usually because you either haven't decided that it's a true desire, and you also haven't given yourself permission to feel truly worthy. Because when you don't feel truly worthy, it's not going to come. And that can be a huge struggle. That's actually going to be my topic for March for the Your Limitless Life membership. I'm really going to dig into worthiness and how our worth is not attached to anything we do or, you know, it's just us as a being and like working through that. So if that's something that you're interested in, definitely check that out. But that'll be my membership. But it has to do a lot with like you feeling worth it. Like right now, I really, really want this gorgeous beach house like right on the ocean. But I really do struggle when I go over to look at it. Like there's a couple that I like, but there's one in particular. When I go over to look at it, like the struggle in my mind is, you're too young. Like, why do you think you can have this now? You know, have you worked hard enough for this? These are all things that like, you know, my mind struggles with. They're struggles that just come from thoughts that really don't need to be acknowledged. They just need to be flipped and changed and transitioned to something more positive. But once I decide, I know this is what's going to happen. Once I decide that I'm worthy, once I decide that it's acceptable to have it, like it'll happen just like that, because that's happened so many times. But it's all in this power of decision. It's all in this power of I am worthy because I am the being that I am, and for no other reason. And this is truly a desire in my heart, because our desires in our heart are put there, like this is not something that's put there to torture you. These are things put there because they're meant for you. Like when it's deep down, clear desire in your heart, it's not there just to be there. It's because you really genuinely deserve to have it. And it's for no other reason than you're just a being. You're a human being of the universe, a child of God, and that's it. There's nothing else behind it. But you have to be able to feel that worthiness. You have to be able to feel that decision. And once you can feel it and once you can own it and really dive into it, like it seems to happen really fast. Like the things that I see a lot of people struggle with are like with money. I know that's been a struggle for me, like feeling worthy of making certain amounts of money for certain amounts of work. When I first got into, like I don't know if this is a I don't think it's something that anybody watching would know right now, but essentially I transitioned from a position in long-term care as a dietitian to doing contract work. And literally overnight, I doubled my income and was only working like not even part-time to do that. Like it was a very different transition, and something clicked that allowed me to feel worthy of that. I could not have even begun. I would have been happy with like, you know, a $5,000 raise or something, you know, at that time frame. Like, you know, you're young, you're like, woohoo, there's more money. But for some reason, I had this thought process, and don't ask me where this came from because I genuinely don't know. I was working for a company that gave me 5 weeks off. It's a European-based company, so they start you out with 5 weeks vacation. So I knew I didn't want any less than that, but I also at that point knew that I deserved more than what I was being paid, especially for like, pardon my language, but for the shit that I was putting up with. I knew I was good at what I was doing. I knew I deserved more. And I also knew that I deserved to have plenty of time off to work on my other business at that time. And so that literally came up, like that whole opportunity, not just came up, it landed in my lap. And it was literally me. I could have started it probably 2 months earlier than I did. I just kept being like, oh, I need to wait until I've been in this like position a year so I don't have to pay back my retarded stuff. If you're doubling your income overnight, the little like $600 that they like paid you for moving expenses is not a big deal. And especially with the situation that it was, like they were not taking that back from me. Like the reasons that I was leaving. So, you know, again, like I had to decide that it was time to actually start that work. Once I decided I was worthy of it, it showed up. But my actual start date, I had to decide like even more. I had to decide, oh, this is not that big of a deal. It's time to accept this. And that's usually, like I said, the hardest part. The hardest part is feeling worthy and actually standing in that decision and saying, yes, it's time for this. Yes, this is mine. And yes, this is the true desire. So I hope this has been helpful. Like I said, just remember that the things that we desire, we deserve them not for any other reason. It's not like, don't ever try to put a reasoning behind your desire, like I work hard, because if you remove those reasonings, because those reasonings aren't totally valid, then there's usually that slippery slope there of I'm not worthy of this. So anyways, I hope this was helpful. Hopefully next time Sophie will debut herself. She's so stinking cute. She's like 2 pounds. So cute. so hopefully she'll debut herself on video, and I'm excited to talk to you guys again soon. I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you later. Bye.